just going to read a few stories about a couple of our members. What Thresholds calls our clients members for various reasons, but they're members of the Thresholds family. So I'm going to read three very sort of short stories and then a fourth, and to give you a sense of how our 600 members of the Williams and Colbert consent decree that are in our collective care at Thresholds are thriving. So I'm going to start with a quick story about a Williams class member named Melissa, who was referred to us in August of 2015. The transition process was pretty slow because Melissa was experiencing high levels of anxiety and often going back and forth about whether or not she could indeed move into the community. We continued to provide her ongoing support while she was in the IMD, and she successfully transitioned about 4 months later. So it took 4 months of a lot of relationship building to give her the confidence to make what was, for her, a big move. So she continued to move forward with her anxiety because she'd been living in the nursing home for so long. Following her move out, Melissa progressed pretty quickly, socially, psychologically, and spiritually. She was less anxious and really excited about the opportunities ahead. And she was really focused on reconnecting with her family. That was her big goal. She was simply too embarrassed to have a family member visit her in the nursing home. And so she basically cut off all relationship with her family. We received a voicemail from her over the holiday that her biggest goal was achieved. She connected with her family. She spent the holiday with her family, a lot of time with her family. She thought a little too much time with her family, but still very proud of that. And to date, she's met about every single goal that she has set. And two of the things that she says that she tells me that she's most proud of is that she's volunteering at a local food pantry and the American Cancer Society, which is huge. And her next goal is to find a part-time job, and she's working really closely with our employment specialists, of which we have like 40 or 50, that are helping her find that job. I want to talk for a second about Celine, who was originally turned away from the program, from the Move On program. They just said, you're never gonna be able to make it in the community. She had serious anxiety, serious panic attacks, vertigo. She would end up sitting on the floor and refusing to budge when conversations about her possible moving on were taking place. But we worked with her, and again, sort of a typical story, building a relationship over many, many months to give her the trust and the confidence that she could indeed move out, and she did move into her own apartment in July of 2014. But it wasn't easy. And I hope you maybe heard, I got here a little late this morning, but a lot of the stories are not easy stories. She was really suffering the first couple months when she had moved out. She was convinced that the water had toxins. Well, who knows? I mean, now we know what water has. So, but she was insisting on boiling her water, all the water coming out of the tap. And she didn't let any of our team in to see her, right? Because she was afraid that she was going to have left the water on, or she was going to leave the stove on, and that something would trigger her needing to go back to a nursing home, or that we were going to force her to go back into a nursing home. She was also having really serious problems, sort of some with some seizure challenges, continued panic attacks, and she was gaining weight. And insisted it was not because of any of the food she was eating. But we worked with her. She began to trust us, which of course takes time. And she started practicing meditation and yoga and really focusing on her physical health and making lists of the food that she was eating. And decided that maybe there's some correlation between the food I'm eating and my weight gain. She started writing down all this stuff. So between meditation, yoga, and keeping a list of food, she began to lose weight. She began to feel stronger. She works out at the Chicago Park District several times a week. She's studying, get this, algebra, advanced algebra, and trigonometry, all stuff I failed in high school and college. Like half the people in this room, right? Spending a lot of time again with her family, and really so excited that she has not had a seizure since getting balanced in medication and food. Just a huge success story. And finally, there's Dan, who was living in a Kankakee IMD for way, way too long. But he transitioned out of the IMD to Thresholds Care in August of 2013. He was initially, like Lou, on an ACT team being seen every single day. He quickly transitioned down to a lower level team. But get this, in the short time that he's been out, he has earned his associate's degree. He is a NAMI representative a NAMI ambassador going into nursing homes, IMDs 4 times a month. And he's currently working to become a certified peer specialist. So he's working at the front desk, earning his hours, and soon he will, like many of our members, be employed. So I want to read one thing to you. It's just not too long, it's just a little bit long, but I want to actually read it to you verbatim because it was written by one of our members. Everything that I'm about to read to you, and this is dedicated to all the social service providers out there. I don't know how many, I don't know the mix in this room, who's a provider, who's an employment specialist, who's a clinician or a nurse or a care coordinator. But this is for you, particularly from Brian. So just bear with me here. I think it's no more than 5 minutes. I'm a member of Thresholds. My name is Brian. I would not be here today if it weren't for some amazing people at South Suburban Thresholds. I call you my superheroes. You're superheroes because of the things that you do to make my life special. You have helped me, you have cheered me on, and you've been tough with me. Anthony, AKA Flash Gordon. Flash resembles exactly the true heart of what makes him a superhero. He thinks of others often. He's always helping someone. He's the guy you can tell anything to, and he will never judge you. When I think something is complicated, Flash has a way of making me see it's no sweat. He shows he cares in many ways. He acknowledged my birthday by giving me incense and soap. He makes me feel valued. He's always willing to go out of his way, help those in need, and he tells me often, have patience. Sabrina, AKA Storm. Storm's the newest superhero on our team, but her name suggests her powers are in controlling the weather. When she comes to see me, the sun and sky get brighter. When she smiles, the sun gets larger, and my bad day becomes a great day. She always provides me with good advice on how to manage my day-to-day life. She often tells me, don't worry, be happy. When Storm comes to see me, I feel like things are manageable. She has the ability to turn my day from a rainy one into a sunny one. Laura, Hawk Girl. Hawk Girl is like my own personal trainer. She motivates me even when I don't want to get up. She always does it because she's thinking in my best interest. She teaches me to eat right and stay healthy and make realistic choices. She encourages me to be the best that I can. Hawk Girl helps me see that when things are tough, if I just get tough, I can do better. One of my first superheroes was the employment specialist, Robert, AKA Batman. Batman is cool and relaxed, but ready to kick butt when needed. Batman is funny and makes me laugh, even though he's serious. He helps me succeed even when I don't want to succeed. He often tells me to stay focused, and I do. Bethany, the program nurse, she's Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman has a different kind of power. She helps me stay on track. She helped make specialized medicine boxes just for me so I can store my medicine in the proper bottles. Wonder Woman didn't want me to forget when to take my meds, so she recorded her voice on my cell phone. Now I never forget to take my 8 p.m. meds because Wonder Woman tells me over and over again to take my meds when my alarm goes off. Wonder Woman believes there's no problem that doesn't have a solution, and she tells me don't be afraid of yourself. And last but not least is the superhero of superheroes, Jen, Supergirl. She's helped me from the beginning stay out of the IMD, and I have not returned once to that IMD. Because she listens to me, she shows me respect, she's honest with me, and she fights for me. She busts her butt for me and never lets me down. I don't know where I would be without these superheroes. They've taught me everything from how to budget money, to increase my confidence, to using positive coping skills. Each superhero has made a difference in my day-to-day life, and they've helped me stay out of that IMD and live another day as independently as possible. I am Brian. I am a Thresholds member. I am smart, I am funny, I am creative, I am strong, I am helpful, I'm a good listener. I'm Wolverine. And I'm a superhero too.
Yeah, all right.
So that, verbatim, that was Brian. So this, my friends and colleagues, this is success. There are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Thresholds currently has 600 consent decree members living independently and successfully in the community. 69% of our Williams class members have not had a single psychiatric hospitalization since moving out with us. 82% of those Williams class members have not had a single medical hospitalization. On the Colbert side, 78% have had no psychiatric hospitalizations and 81% no medical. And Colbert members, many of them have very high comorbid medical needs. 81% have not been hospitalized on the medical, for medical needs. I mean, this absolutely rocks. Now it's true, yes, absolutely, to them. But unfortunately, some class members have returned to nursing homes and IMDs. This is the reality. Some have been incarcerated. Some have passed away. And this is not at all surprising, given that people with serious mental illness die 25 years younger than the rest of us. So I did say there's no ifs, ands, or buts about our success, but there are some buts. We have come so far, but we have not come far enough. We have so far to go and so much to do. And we are attempting to do all of this good work in a time of unbelievable fiscal and political crisis. We're attempting to keep providers, community providers, mental health, housing, social service organizations alive. This is where we are at in early 2016. We are fighting to keep organizations alive so that we can serve people coming out of institutions. There's no way to serve people coming out of institutions. There's no way to implement the consent decrees unless we have robust community services and housing. So let me be painfully clear. There will be no consent decrees. There can be no consent decrees without robust community health and housing and supports. It goes without saying, but as any good marketing person will tell you, you have to say the same thing over and over and over again before anybody hears it, before anybody listens, and before anybody acts. So what we have to do is we have to keep telling this story, that the only way to make the consent decrees work, the only way to stop the front door, to close the front door, to stop the pipeline, is to create and maintain a robust community mental health, behavioral health, substance abuse, housing, and social support disability sector. So here is my, I haven't transferred one slide yet. How do I even do this? Anybody know? I should go to a different slide, because I do have a couple. So here's my incomplete list, and Barry and Ellen and Laura, anybody else. This is a completely inexhaustive and incomplete list about what we need to do to move forward in 3 areas.
That's it.
Red?
You want to go forward?
I'll go forward.
Oh, you know what? This PDF, this should be.
I don't really need slides right now, but I will in about a second. Okay. No. Oh, not the giraffe yet. Okay.
Okay, right here with your arrows.
Okay. Home. Okay.
This does work now that way.
Which one? That one?
way.
Okay, great. Okay. So here's my incomplete list of what we need to do as a sector, as a state, to achieve home, health, and hope, so that we achieve all of the promise of the consent decrees. So first is home. I believe, and again, this is just me talking, and I don't know a lot about Liggis, I only know a little bit about Williams and Colbert. We need more and better housing options, including clustered site housing models and shared apartments, if that is what members want and choose. We need to identify more and willing cooperative landlords. We need to create a better informed, coordinated, and seamless process for transferring bridge subsidies to Section 8 vouchers. We need to figure out fast how to get Medicaid, and Medicaid can pay for this, housing support services and housing-related services. Medicaid will not pay for housing, as far as I know, but they will pay for housing-related services. We need to convince HFS, Healthcare and Family Services, and the MCOs to invest in housing, because housing is healthcare. And we need more Lori Bakers, if anybody knows Lori Baker out there. Health. We need to fully restore Williams and Colbert capacity grants for psychiatry, nursing, employment, quality oversight, and more. We need psych leadership grants reinstated immediately. We need rate reform and payment reform. They're not the same, but they're related. We need rate reform in Illinois. Rate reform for the kind of work that we do has been held at rates from 8 years ago. We cannot continue to operate this way. And we need payment reform. We need to move out of a fee-for-service system into a value-based, outcomes-based, per member, per month, some kind of interesting, innovative payment model so that we can both cover our costs and focus on outcomes. And we need payment and reform immediately in psychiatry. We need truly integrated primary care and behavioral health care and co-located services where possible. We need to change state rules, especially Rule 132 and 2060. The mental health and substance abuse rules are antiquated and they do not work. We can be more efficient, we can be more effective, we can get more done, we can have better outcomes if we reform the rule. We need to explore, I believe, creating financial incentives for managed care organizations to transition people from long-term care instead of just getting paid the enhanced rate that they get paid for keeping people there. We need to invest in early intervention programs and first episode psychosis programs, because if we can get people young and early, we can prevent them from ever being institutionalized, and in fact, we can prevent people from being long-term members of thresholds. We get folks late in their disease progression. If we invested the right amount of money at the right time at the right place, we could keep thousands of people out of long-term institutional care, including threshold care. And if any of you know any of the Williams folks, we need more Brenda Hamptons. And hope. We can and we will instill hope if we can shut that front door to institutional care much more quickly by creating targets for overall reduction in such beds. I also believe we can create more hope if we expand Williams and Colbert to cover all people with serious and persistent mental illness, not just those limited to the consent decrees today. I think we're going to create hope by expanding supported employment and IPS, individual placement and support programs, so that people can join the workforce and move more easily to independence. We can create hope by creating more drop-in centers. I think Laura talked about this, came in late, but I think she mentioned something like community centers or drop-in centers. We need more of these, and we need to make sure these are funded next year, because I'm not sure that they will be. But places where people can socialize, learn new skills, and smartly and safely ease their way into full and robust community integration. And is this too much to demand in these trying times? I think not. As Lucinda Williams, I don't know if anybody here knows Lucinda Williams, she's sort of an aging folk rocker who I adore. She's got this great song called Passionate Kisses, and one of the lines is, "Give me what I deserve, for it's my right." And that's like my rallying cry. I think about that all the time. It's about our members' civil rights. That's what we're talking about. It's about our members, as we call them, about their human rights. That's what we're talking about. And if it ain't right, then something's terribly wrong. Which leads me to my last 10 minutes, and I'm just going to talk about giraffes, just to do something completely different. But since I have the microphone for 10 minutes, that's what I want to talk about. So I'm going to tell you exactly why. So last year, I was on a panel discussing the future of our sector, housing, healthcare, disability rights. I was on this panel with about 400 people in the audience, and it was a specific talk around philanthropy and nonprofits. And the keynote speaker was this fancy schmancy guy from a big foundation, and he said that American philanthropy and private foundations were a lot like giraffes. They could not or should not possibly exist, but for some reason they do. He went on to say that private foundations are like giraffes because they always seem to be looking down on you. They act like they're sticking their necks out for you. And they could not be more prepared to work at the grassroots level, right, where we are at. So he implored the private foundation sector to find a better and more appropriate mascot. So I was on this panel, and I had no idea this is what he was going to say. But here's the problem, or for him it was. I lived in Africa for many, many years. I worked in Africa, and there is no animal that I love more than the giraffe. So when I got up to speak, I sort of threw away my notes and began to give this impassioned defense of the giraffe and why, if the foundation world should get rid of the giraffe, then we, all of us, members, clients, caregivers, the whole bunch of us should think about whether or not this is our mascot. Because everybody's got a mascot, right? The schools have them, our sports teams have them, cereals have them. Insurance companies have mascots. But I didn't know if us, all of us in this room, and especially our clients and our members sort of had a mascot. So that's when I decided that I was just going to make, by fiat, the giraffe our mascot. And I gave some of the reasons why, because I just remembered them as I was up on that panel. But then I put together my top 10 list of why we should adopt this and use this as our motivating factor to do the hard work that we have to do to have success. So here in very typical David Letterman fashion, I'm going to give you my top 10 reasons why we should adopt the giraffe. Number 1, or number 10, I should say, giraffes like us are super fast. We go from emergency to emergency in the blink of an eye. We find people housing, maybe the MCOs don't, but we find people housing on a moment's notice. We write successful grant applications over a weekend. And when a client is ever in crisis, we ask, or his or her peer advocate asks, why walk when we can fly? Giraffes are the tallest animal on the planet. Like them, we have to rise above the fray. We have to see the forest through the trees. And we take the long view of history, knowing that the arc of the moral universe is long, but that it always bends towards justice. And we have to confront every injustice, including institutionalization in nursing homes, on the streets, and in prison. We have to confront every one of these injustices with peace, purpose, and passion. Number 8, the giraffe can live for long durations without water. I think nothing describes our sector better than this. How long have we had to wait for a state budget? Right? We're still waiting. How long have we had to wait for payment? We're still waiting. How long have we had to endure cuts in health and human service budgets while corporate tax loopholes remain intact? And how long have our clients, many of them, had to go literally without food and water because they were living on the streets or on subways? Their disability benefits were pending, their Medicaid benefits were suspended or denied because they were in jail, because their psych meds were cut off because somebody decided they were too expensive and they didn't need them. We are all giraffes. Number 7, giraffes require very little sleep, 30 minutes of sleep a night. Does that describe us? That's what I feel like some days. We do whatever it takes to get the job done. Our emergency psych assessment teams, 24/7, 365. Our supervised residential programs, 24/7, 365. Client crisis hotlines, 24/7, 365. Our commitment to each and every client, 24/7, 365. Polar vortexes, heat waves, whatever you have in Chicago are just excuses for our staff to work harder and get less sleep. Number 6, giraffes are peaceful but not voiceless. We speak often, always, I hope, for those without a voice, those who have been silenced by intimidation, abuse, fear of incarceration, deportation, loss of their kids. People who have been silenced because they have literally been labeled crazy, lazy, or stupid. We give them voice. But when we really do our job well, which I think we are doing lots of the time, our clients use and raise their own voices, as you saw and heard so eloquently this morning. Number 5, giraffes can kill a lion with one swift kick. Now, don't get me wrong here, I'm not advocating violence at all, and certainly not killing or even kicking anyone. I'm a vegetarian, so is the giraffe. But sometimes we have to kick the lion right in the behind. We need to kick and scream to make sure that funding for housing and health care and food stamps, that funding is increased and not decreased. We need to kick and scream and make sure that Medicaid expansion stays in Illinois, but is also expanded, not just in blue states, but in red states. And we need to kick and scream to make sure that jails are not the largest provider of mental health services in our states, but the community mental health and housing providers are. We need to kick the lion. Number 4, giraffes give birth. They nap and give birth standing up. And to me, this says it all. We are all the consummate multitaskers with no time to waste. Eat, work, nap, give birth, repeat. Number 3, giraffes have 4 stomachs, as do we. You didn't know that. 1 for the nourishment that we all need, physically and emotionally, to do the hard work that we do, and 3 more for everything we have to stomach, for those who try to stigmatize, marginalize, and ostracize our clients and our agencies. We have 4 stomachs and abs of steel. Number 2, giraffes stick out their necks and love to neck. We don't need or want to be popular, but we stick out our necks for those who need us the most. But we also insist on necking, having fun, because this is really hard work, and we have a responsibility to make it as fun as possible. And finally, my favorite, giraffe hearts are 24 pounds and 2 feet in length. And what a metaphor this is. For those of you that know me at Thresholds, and maybe Lou has heard this, I use the word love almost every single day at Thresholds. When I talk about my staff, my board, our clients, our volunteers, our work in our sector. Because I believe those in our field doing this work that we're talking about today have giraffe-sized hearts. And we can only do this work if we have giraffe-sized hearts. Commitment to social justice is critical. Belief in a better and more fair society is a sine qua non. And smarts, real smarts to fix seemingly intractable problems is required. But I believe what it takes above all else is heart, kindness and compassion, softness and a gentleness of spirit. So you, my friends and colleagues, clients and members, you are giraffes. Our clients are giraffes, our donors and our patrons are giraffes. Even our politicians, some of them, who are using our money and their power to create better systems that create systems of fairness and freedom, housing and healthcare, they are giraffes too. So I want to thank you and honor you all for the work that you do every single day, for your voice and for giving voice to others. I want to thank and honor you for your indefatigable spirit. I want to thank you and honor you for being strong and peaceful and fierce and fast. And I want to thank you and honor you for having stomachs and hearts and necks second to none. So I'm going to end by saying the 2 of my heroes, Martin Luther King Jr. and John Lennon, they would say that all we need is love and a revolution. And I would add more giraffes. Thank you.